welcome to the Doorbell YouTube channel. We are coming at you from Prettiest Pieces Vintage Event Rentals in North Carolina. As usual, this amazing couch.
Our throne.
Yes, we're feeling very royal today. And this is my friend Madeline from Madeline Yates Photography, who's going to chat with us today about your ideal client, and we're going to work together to fill out this ideal client worksheet. That is going to be available in a link at the end of the video for you to download and fill out yourself. So, Madeline, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm a wedding and portrait photographer in Greensboro. So, but not only Greensboro, but I love to travel the country and other places as well. So, but mainly is weddings. So I spend the day capturing your love story, and then love to go through them and share with you the photos so that you can relive the moment every day. Yeah.
And Madeline is like always all over the place. She works with us sometimes and kind of saves my life. So she's always all over the place taking photos. So definitely reach out to her if you're anywhere near, really anywhere in the entire country, because she's
everywhere.
always all over. But today we're going to fill out this ideal client worksheet, and I think this is so important. Even filling mine out for this exercise, I learned a lot of things about my business and where I want it to go, and came up with some actionable steps to get there.
Yeah.
So it's got 25 questions on it, and the link is going to be at the end of this video for you, and you can download it and fill it out. We're going to cover like 9 or 10 of these questions today because we don't want to spoil all of them. But before we get into that, I have a couple little guidelines for filling out this worksheet. And the first is going to be to try and dig deep. So the whole point of this worksheet is that we don't want your ideal client to be females age 20 to 50, because that's too broad. And so I was an English major in college, and we always would do character development exercises, and I like to think of this as a very specific character. So I even named the person because it's your company's ideal client, YCIC, and so now I call them ESIC in my head, which can kind of be a female name or a male name, whatever you need. You don't have to call it that. I'm just a nerd. But I like to think of it as a very specific person. So if you can narrow this down to like 10 people in the whole world, then that's great, and you'll have a better chance of kind of finding those ideal clients. So dig deep. That's what we're going to try to do really hard with you. Number 2 is that we try not to think of this as your average client. So right now, if you currently work with a lot of people in Alaska, don't think, when we say, where does your ideal client live, don't say Alaska if that's not where you want to be. So think about who you want to be working with, not necessarily who you are currently working with. And number 3 is something that's kind of hard for both of us. And remember that this isn't limiting you to just this. So if you say that your E6's favorite color is purple, that doesn't mean you can't ever work with a client whose favorite color is pink. So we're trying to get you in a direction so that you're really working with those clients that give you life and make you feel so much joy and
excited about what you're doing.
Yes, so excited. That make you think like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad to be doing this right now with this particular client. Yeah. And number 4 is at the end of this, we're going to try and take actionable steps to reaching this. So if you decide that you want to do, you want to work with certain clients of a certain age group or demographic or a place in the country, then use that knowledge to create actionable steps so that you're working towards working with more of those ideal clients, and not, keeping with your status quo if you're not quite there. Like, every client isn't your ideal client, then you still have a little ways to go.
Yeah.
Not that I think we're ever going to get all the way there, but okay, and number 5 is just to remember that you're not necessarily describing yourself. So one of the questions is, where does your ESIC like to eat? And I kept saying, oh, Chick-fil-A. It would be great to work with a client that eats at Chick-fil-A all the time. But I was thinking, no, that's just me. That doesn't really have anything to do with my clients. So I have a lot of things in common with this person, but there are a few ways, which I'll point out, that I very much differ from them as well. So, and then number 6 is don't be afraid to reevaluate. So every time you have someone that you think, oh my gosh, this couple was my ideal client, or this person was my ideal client, think about why they were your ideal client, and if you can narrow it down to any specific things that you loved about them, write those down, add these to your worksheet, and then you can use that to reevaluate where you're going and get more clients like that. Okay, so now we're gonna get started, and I think mine, it goes first, so if you wanna ask.
Yeah. So, what is E6's job? What is your ideal client's job?
Okay, so I love this because, you know, I'll work with anyone who has any job, but I love working with other creatives.
Yeah.
And even if they're kind of in a similar field, like I've worked with graphic designers before, and they can get, you know, they're very particular about what they want. But I think creatives kind of understand that other creatives can take the lead on things and kind of direct. So I think when I work with other creatives, they tend to trust me a little bit more and feel, you know, comfortable giving me a little bit of direction and letting me run with it, which I really love because I don't love it when clients are
On
like,
top of you all the time.
super nitpicky. Yeah.
Other creatives probably they step back and let you do your job.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Which is so important. And I think creatives, you know, you might find this if you work with other wedding vendors for their own weddings, they want to do things that are out of the box a little bit. So
because they're so used to the normal, typical.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We, you know, my wedding's going to be crazy because we're going to have a different theme in every room. So. Okay, so for you, Madeline, what is your ideal client's family like?
So my ideal client's family is very family oriented. So they like to do things like go out to occasions, dinner. They're not like secluding themselves to be just them, like their own person. They like to
be really involved
and not necessarily every day all the time, but you know, like once a week, go out to dinner or, you know, just get together with family, so that it's family.
Yeah.
You know, and so that their wedding or their event is focused around the family and how everybody's enjoying their time and not just themselves.
I love that. Yeah, and they want to make sure everyone's
feeling comfortable and welcome.
Feeling super welcome. And as a photographer, that probably makes it easier when you're doing like family portraits.
It makes it easier because like they're not uncomfortable, they're not afraid to be themselves, and you know, if I ask them to sit on the floor and snuggle with each other, it's not awkward for like them to just, you know, get close and pretend like they're at home and I'm just like kind of behind the scenes taking that photo. So yeah, family oriented is pretty much
pretty important.
Yeah.
I love that. And for me, I actually put that I would like a small family. Still, you can be, you know, very close to them. I'm very close to my family as well. But I really like kind of my ideal client is these luxurious, intimate weddings. And so I think having like a small family and a small, close group gives that intimate feel that I really want, where you can make things really personal with a lot of details. And I also put they should have animals.
Yes.
Because I love incorporating animals to my invitations.
Bring all your animals to the photo sessions.
Oh my gosh, yes. Do you love animals at weddings? Do you hate animals at weddings?
I've never had them I've had one animal at a wedding before, and he was the ring bearer, a dog. But I mean, I wouldn't be against having multiple animals through a wedding or family sessions for sure. It makes it fun. It can go a little crazy and out of hand, but it just adds more personality to the photo.
Yeah. Madeline took some awesome photos of me with my dog recently, so
see them below.
She's amazing. Yeah, I'll link to those. He's gonna be a model someday. Okay, next question.
So what does your ideal client, or what salary does your ideal client have?
Yeah, so I kind of put salary, I wrote /budget at the end, and we're dealing with clients kind of in their wedding, which can be, you can set a wedding budget based on your salary, or some people do it based on their family's salary, so it's not 100% correlation there, so I put budget. And I personally like to deal with people who have a $50,000 budget or higher, just because the custom invitation and calligraphy and all the little details do cost money, and they cost me time and money to create. So that's my ideal. We also have, the semi-custom collections, and their ideal client is slightly different than our custom invitation ideal client. So if you have multiple parts of your business, don't be afraid to kind of do this worksheet for different parts. But if your field is like clothing design or something that's more day-to-day, then you may want to focus more on salary than like wedding budget, for instance.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like for photography, it's more like I want you to feel comfortable paying and not having like a hold on the budget, but I want you to also really know that it's an investment and it's not like something you just pay for every day. So it's something like if it's going to hurt you a little bit, but it's going to be a good hurt. I don't know if that makes sense.
I love how you put that.
I don't want to say I only want to work with people that, have this budget, but I do want you to know the investment. Like it's not just a cup of coffee that you have every day.
Right. Yeah. You want them to invest in your art and your creativity, and they're going to value the pictures more if they put the investment forward where they want. Okay, perfect. Let's see. Who is your ideal client closest to? That's a great question.
This kind of like bounces off of what's their family like, because I really feel like my ideal client is close to their family, but also to their significant other. Obviously, if it's a wedding, I don't want you to...
distant weddings are weird.
I kind of joke around like I want my ideal client to be closest to their spouse or their partner, because I personally don't like photographing people that haven't been in a relationship that's like been 2 dots. Like if you're planning a wedding, I really think it's important that it's been a long time coming and there's a lot of foundation built off of the relationship versus just I don't know how to say this without being like don't contact me a week after you've started dating someone saying that you're getting married or you want photo sessions, Yes. But I definitely think that my ideal client is closest to their family, again, because they make the most influences off of them. And I'm going with that. But
I love that. And I'm going to skip, this isn't in order, but I'm going to skip down to who does your ideal client rely on to make decisions, because I think this is a very similar question. I put their partner, but I also put themselves and that they're independent. I personally find it a little bit more difficult when there's a lot of cooks in the kitchen. So if there is a planner, if there is a mother-in-law, a mother, a best friend, a maid of honor, or a best man, like all these people.
I'm overwhelmed already.
It can get overwhelming, and then you're sending an email to 7 people, and then they all have different changes, and then you miss one because you didn't see the email from this person at this time, and so I like people who, if they're the bride and the groom, or both grooms or both brides are copied on the email. I love that. I love if they're both, I love that if they both provide feedback, because then I know that they're both, going to be as happy with the product and they're both represented in the final product. But having too many cooks in the kitchen is less ideal for me, and sometimes they can have great ideas, sometimes it can be a wonderful thing, but just focusing on that like one ideal client, I would say is relying on themselves and their partner mostly to make that decision.
And I agree with that. I said that I want them to rely on their heart and like what they really want, and try not to let other people take away from what their vision is. If they have other ideas to how to make it more cost efficient or more budget related, then that's great, but I don't want your favorite dress or whatever to be taken away because someone else is making an influence on you.
I love that.
So
say yes to the dress when they have too many people.
When they have every single part of the bridal party, and then the dad, and then the groom, it's
everybody.
Great. But also with their spouse, to make sure that they're both in agreement with each other and what they're bringing on. And I want the groom to be just as excited that they're working with me than the bride. I don't want it just to be a one-sided, and the other person not have anything to do with it. So definitely first their heart, but then second with the other person in the relationship.
And we find, we're open to everyone, but we find that brides in heterosexual couples are often more involved in the planning process. Maybe if you're a DJ or a caterer, you have a different experience. But, on our parts of it, we kind of find that. So it's nice to find a groom that's equally involved or a partner that's equally involved.
Yeah. Especially for like, if you're booking with a wedding for the engagement session, it's really nice to have both two people that are involved and happy to be there. You know, it makes it more comfortable for the wedding day because they know how I work and I know how y'all are together, and like I can find out who they rely on. You know, if they rely on each other or themselves, who makes the decision.
Yeah. Okay, I know I skipped around. Maybe this one?
Okay, so where does your ideal client live?
So my ideal client, this is one area where I differ from my ideal client. I have decided recently that I've really found a lot of joy in doing destination weddings that are abroad. I've been working with some Italian weddings and sending proposals for like Bali and things like that, and I find that gets me really hyped about it. Even though I don't get to go with them, I just love kind of seeing all the other cultures and incorporating those into the suite, as well as just the beautiful architecture and scenery and all of those things. And even if it's a destination wedding, you know, within the United States, I think that's amazing. So I don't necessarily think I'm gonna have a destination wedding because my mother would kill me.
Oh, come on.
But I think that that's somewhere that I really want to move towards. So just as an example of an actionable step for this is, now that I've kind of established that I want to have more international weddings, maybe I'll start reaching out to international wedding blogs, other countries, planners in other countries, things like that, or if there's planners here that work mostly on destination weddings. So that's kind of an actionable step that I can take, as opposed to keeping my relationships, working on relationships with domestic weddings or non-destination weddings.
I think I love destination weddings. I love to be able to travel the world and do what I love to do. So though I am like trying to cater more to like the North Carolina destination, but I also do up to 4 actual destination weddings a year. So I know a lot of people in different areas, so it's kind of helpful to be able to get my name out in other parts of the world, I guess you would say. But
yeah, Madeline works a lot in Florida and like Seattle and all of those.
Describe your ideal client's style.
Okay, we also put where do they like to shop on here, so I'm gonna kind of answer these together. Specifically, if you have followed me for a while, you know I love color, specifically yellow.
Yellow.
But, hit it. But I love clients that have a clear sense of style and that aren't afraid of pushing limits, mixing patterns, mixing colors, being really bright and kind of standing out. So I love that kind of style, which is very different for the wedding industry. I think a lot of people are kind of looking for that simple, elegant, classic style. So I do think that is a way that I can help, set myself apart a little bit. So establishing that as my ideal client style is really helpful. Okay, and then I also wanted to ask you, this is a great one. This is the last one on the list. So why is your ideal client going to hire you specifically?
It's a tough one, but it's good. So I feel like my ideal client is someone that will trust me and they aren't afraid of like the suggestions that I make to go along with what they're looking for. And I don't want them to feel like they need to be on top of me during like the wedding day, because that's their day. They shouldn't have to worry, and I'm there so that they don't have to do that. And my ideal client is someone that likes my style and doesn't want me to change how I deliver nor how I edit my photos specifically for them. There's not trying to like turn down clients, but it's like there's plenty of us to go around that have different styles that can fit to everybody's need. And I also don't think my ideal client would hire me blindfolded, so I want them to like truly invest and not just go off of, oh my gosh, you just got engaged, you should go book Madeline. I want them to really look at my Instagram page, my Facebook page, my website, so that they can see my work and who I am as a person as well as an artist.
Do your research. I love that. That's so important when you're creative. So I love that. Okay, So this is just a few of these questions. There's so many more, but the point is just like dig really deep, find out why you have an answer to a certain question and how that affects your, you as a business person and you in your working relationship with this client. And I'm going to reiterate just making actionable steps towards that goal. So, write down a list of things that you've discovered from forming this worksheet, and also think about where that person is, which is actually one of the questions. We talk about platforms, we talk about where they might be for having fun, we talk about a lot of things like that. So make sure you're, creating actionable steps to follow towards getting 100% of your clients to be this person.
And like she said earlier, to reevaluate. I mean, this could change. Next month I could retake this, and it could be totally different. So don't be afraid to change your answers for what you have, because I'm already in my head like, oh, I probably should have wrote something else, or and I filled this out 2 days ago. So it changes all the time, but we do want eventually for you to find something that's consistent and doesn't change. So maybe
And I could work with a ton of international clients and decide I hate them.
Yeah.
And that I want to only work with Greensboro clients forever. So there's going to be a download link to this sheet, the nice clean version, ready for you to make it messy like I did, below. So make sure you download that. Share it with your friends, comment and tell us about how you felt about this exercise and if you enjoyed it. If you want to get more tips and tricks and fun activities like this, then make sure you subscribe to the Doorbell channel by clicking this button. It's somewhere, somewhere on the screen. Still learning that part. And we hope you have a great day, and we hope this helps you to narrow down your ideal client and take some steps towards working with them all the time.
Yay! Bye!